What if I told you that one decision you make in the next 24 hours could quietly reshape the next 24 years of your life? Not because of luck, not because someone rescued you, but because you finally chose to answer the question you've been avoiding. Time doesn't wait for certainty. Opportunities don't pause while you overthink. Every great breakthrough begins with a moment when someone decides that hesitation has lasted long enough. So today, I have one simple message for you. I need your answer within 24 hours, not my answer. Yours. Will you keep living the same story, or will you write a new one? Will you keep making excuses, or will you make a commitment? Will you keep waiting for the perfect moment, or become the person who creates it? The next 24 hours are not just another day on the calendar. They are your test, your turning point, your chance to prove that your future matters more than your fears. Stay with me, because by the end of this speech, you'll know exactly what your answer should be. Every future is built twice. The first time it exists only as a decision. The second time it becomes reality through consistent action. Most people believe success begins with talent, money, or perfect timing. It doesn't. It begins with commitment. A clear decision creates direction, and direction gives every action a purpose. When I say I need your answer within 24 hours, I'm not asking you to rush through life. I'm asking you to stop delaying the decision that has already been waiting for you. There comes a moment when gathering more information no longer makes you wiser. It only makes you slower. There comes a point where thinking becomes another form of hiding. You tell yourself that you'll decide tomorrow, next week, or next month, but every delay quietly teaches your mind that your dreams are optional instead of essential. Imagine standing at the edge of a bridge. You know where you are. You know where you want to go. The only thing separating those two places is your willingness to take the first step. The bridge doesn't move toward you. Time doesn't shorten the distance. The only thing that changes is how long you remain standing still. Your future isn't waiting for perfection. It is waiting for commitment. Many people believe confidence comes before action. They think successful people wake up feeling fearless every day. That isn't how growth works. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. Every time you choose action over excuses, your mind begins to trust you a little more. Every promise you keep becomes another brick in the foundation of your character. Think about every extraordinary achievement you've ever admired. Every company, every invention, every breakthrough, every inspiring story started with someone making a decision before they had complete certainty. If they had waited until every risk disappeared, nothing remarkable would have happened. Progress has always belonged to those who accepted uncertainty and moved anyway. You don't need to know every step. You only need to know the next one. That's why these 24 hours matter. They represent a boundary between the person you have been and the person you are capable of becoming. On one side is endless preparation. On the other side is meaningful progress. Ask yourself one honest question. What decision have you been avoiding? Maybe it's starting the project you've been planning for years. Maybe it's learning a skill that could change your future. Maybe it's repairing a relationship. Maybe it's leaving habits that no longer serve you. Maybe it's finally believing that your life deserves your full effort. Whatever it is, your answer has already been forming inside you. Fear simply keeps interrupting it. Fear has an interesting habit. It always sounds reasonable. It tells you to wait for a better opportunity. It tells you to become more experienced first. It tells you that someone else is more qualified. It tells you that failure would be embarrassing. But fear rarely asks what the cost of waiting will be. It never reminds you about the opportunities that disappear while you hesitate. The greatest loss is not failure. The greatest loss is potential that never becomes reality. Every day you delay, your future self pays the price. Not because life is unfair, but because time continues moving whether you participate or not. Hours become days, days become years. One day you realize you have spent more energy imagining a better life than actually building one. Don't let that become your story. Make today the day your direction changes. Small decisions repeated consistently create extraordinary lives. A single page read today becomes knowledge after a year. A single workout becomes strength after months. One honest conversation rebuilds trust. One application opens a career. One idea shared becomes a business. Great outcomes are rarely created by dramatic moments. They are created by ordinary decisions made with extraordinary consistency. That's why I need your answer within 24 hours, not because the world will end tomorrow. Because your habit of delaying must end today. There is a version of you already capable of achieving far more than you currently believe. That version isn't waiting for better circumstances. It is waiting for better decisions. Every choice either strengthens that future version of yourself or weakens it. Every excuse makes tomorrow's excuse easier. Every courageous action makes tomorrow's courage stronger. Your identity is shaped by repetition. If you repeatedly choose comfort, you become someone who depends on comfort. If you repeatedly choose discipline, you become someone who can be trusted with greater opportunities. Your future is quietly observing today's choices. The world rewards people who solve problems, create value, and remain consistent long after excitement fades. Excitement comes and goes, motivation rises and falls, commitment remains. Commitment continues when emotions become unreliable. Commitment keeps moving when results arrive slowly. Commitment transforms impossible goals into completed journeys. That is why your answer matters more than your emotions. Your emotions describe today. Your commitment defines tomorrow. Don't underestimate the power of a clear decision. Once your mind stops negotiating with itself, your energy becomes focused. Instead of asking whether you should begin, you begin asking how to improve. Instead of wondering if you're capable, you start proving that you are. Progress replaces doubt because action creates evidence. The next 24 hours will pass whether you decide or not. The question is simple. When those hours are gone, will you still be standing in the same place, holding the same excuses, waiting for another perfect moment that never arrives? Or will those 24 hours become the beginning of a completely different chapter in your life? Your future cannot answer that question. Only you can. And the answer you choose today will quietly introduce you to the person you become tomorrow. Every important decision carries a hidden cost. Most people think the cost is making the wrong choice. In reality, the greatest cost is often refusing to choose at all. When you delay a decision, life doesn't stop moving. Time continues, opportunities continue, the world continues evolving. The only thing left behind is the version of you that could have grown if you had acted sooner. Think about the greatest achievements in human history. They didn't begin because every answer was known. They began because someone believed that progress was more valuable than certainty. Waiting for perfect conditions has never created extraordinary results. Action has. Your mind naturally wants complete certainty before it moves. It wants guarantees that success is possible. It wants proof that failure won't happen. But life doesn't work that way. Every meaningful step forward includes uncertainty. That's not a flaw in the process. That's the process itself. Imagine planting a tree. You don't dig it up every morning to check whether the roots are growing. You trust the process, you water it, you protect it, you remain patient. Growth happens quietly before it becomes visible. Your goals work the same way. Many people abandon their dreams because they expect immediate evidence. They want results after a few days of effort. When nothing dramatic happens, they assume nothing is changing. But the most important transformations happen beneath the surface, long before anyone notices them. Character develops before success appears. Discipline strengthens before confidence arrives. Knowledge grows before recognition follows. The invisible always comes before the visible. Every day you postpone a decision, you train your brain to believe that hesitation is normal. Over time, hesitation becomes a habit. Soon you begin delaying not only difficult choices, but even simple ones. You wait for permission, you wait for motivation, you wait for confidence. Eventually, waiting becomes your lifestyle. But consider the opposite. Imagine becoming someone who makes thoughtful decisions and follows through with them. Not reckless decisions, not emotional decisions. Clear decisions based on values, purpose, and long-term thinking. Your identity begins to change. Instead of asking, "Can I do this?" you begin asking, "What's the next step?" Instead of focusing on obstacles, you focus on solutions. Instead of fearing mistakes, you treat them as information that helps you improve. That small shift changes everything. The world belongs to learners, not to people who never make mistakes. Every failure contains data. Every setback teaches something that success often cannot. If you approach every challenge with curiosity instead of fear, nothing is truly wasted. The biggest mistake isn't choosing the wrong direction. The biggest mistake is standing still while everyone else continues learning. Time has a unique quality. Once it passes, it never negotiates. You cannot earn it back. You cannot save it for later. Every sunrise gives you another opportunity, but it never gives you yesterday again. Ask yourself, how many dreams have disappeared simply because someone waited too long? How many businesses were never started? How many books were never written? How many conversations never happened? How many talents remained hidden? Not because people lacked ability, but because they believed tomorrow would always be available. Tomorrow is a useful idea, but a dangerous habit. When tomorrow becomes your favorite word, today loses its power. Progress begins the moment you decide that today matters more than someday. You don't need to transform your entire life overnight. You only need to move one step closer to the person you want to become. One page, one workout, one lesson, one conversation, one application, one promise kept. Small actions repeated consistently reshape entire futures. Think of a rocket leaving Earth. Most of its energy isn't used while traveling through space. It is used overcoming gravity during the beginning of the journey. Your goals are similar. Starting requires the greatest effort. Once momentum builds, continuing becomes much easier. That's why beginning matters so much. Momentum is earned. Every completed task creates confidence for the next one. Every promise you keep strengthens your belief in yourself. Every disciplined day makes the following day slightly easier. Success rarely arrives as one giant breakthrough. More often, it arrives as thousands of ordinary decisions made with extraordinary consistency. Don't underestimate quiet progress. The strongest foundations are built long before the tallest buildings appear. The greatest leaders spent years learning before anyone recognized them. The greatest creators spent countless hours improving before their work reached the world. Your unseen effort is never wasted. Every minute invested in becoming better compounds over time, producing results that seem sudden to others, but were built patiently over months and years. So if you're standing at a crossroads today, wondering whether to begin, remember this. The cost of action is temporary. The cost of endless hesitation can last a lifetime. Your future isn't asking you to be perfect, it's asking you to begin.